And I think we're live. Good evening, morning, day, whichever part of the world you're in. How's it going, everybody? Can you hear me okay? And is the music at a decent enough level that my voice is now, well, my voice is nice and clear? Let me know in the chat. Necron Raven says hi. And I know Ben said hi earlier, along with Omen Hart saying hello. Here's Ben's hi. Robotic Artist 27, howdy. I'm not doing too bad. Yourself? Minecraft Transformers, always good to see you here. Cool. Robotic Artist 27 is all good here. Nice. Right, so we're going to combine Millie and Ceruledge from the Pokemon game to make a new Hellmon today. Been trying to figure out the best way to do this because they're both like humanoid characters, and then I think I'll start as always with the Pokemon, but I'll kind of change the pose a little bit and then add the extra elements to it. Kind of like the majority of the standard pose for Ceruledge, which is the one you can see on screen underneath me to the right hand corner. That kind of pose is quite nice. Ben says, Dempsey, I made a pretty crazy fusion idea for your narrators. You did. The only drawback to that fusion idea is we go from 8 narrators, after we've got another 4, down to 4 narrators. But it's quite an interesting idea. I'm not sure if I'm going to have an overseer type character for a narrator yet. If I do, it might be called something different. But yeah, it's quite... Huh? That kind of artistic kit says an overlooker. So yeah, that'd be quite cool. Necron Raven says, thanks for the redraw pictures. That's okay. I'm sending out a... I will tomorrow be sending out to all the ones who submit via email their submissions with a high-res image version. So keep an eye out for that, you guys. I believe Omen Heart and Necron Raven are the 2 that'll be getting that. But let's start doing a bit of a sketch for this one. So you're going to start off a little bit with the actual Pokemon design, and then add, I think we'll add Millie's kind of like a design on top of that, so we can get roughly a quite a nice pose going, which would be really good. It's been a bit of a weird day now that it's we've gotten past the main bulk of Christmas. Ben says, so Demonica was a spy for Loki the whole time? Yes. She does still work for Loki, which I think is making the story quite a little bit interesting. But I do have a few more twists and turns for other characters and that in the story to develop over time. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens with those ones over time, really. I think it'll be quite fun to see the growth of the narrators and the characters. Galahow19, hello, welcome. Yes, that's because I'm not working at the moment because of the holidays, so I'm able to jump on a little bit earlier, and then yeah, I can jump onto the stream a little bit earlier so that we're not quite so late. I will next week. I appreciate people maybe back at work, school, wherever. I will be doing a stream that'll be probably starting mid-afternoon in the UK, just to see how it goes, really. With a bit of as a bit of an experiment, really, to see how that goes. But it's not going to be too bad. You're not going to miss too much. I think it's going to be my for that one. I was debating changing Pokemon types from random generators, which I think would be quite fun. Something a bit different, but that people can jump into and not really miss much in the stream. You don't need to know the story or anything else like that. It's just a case of just gets picked up and worked on. I think that'd be a rather fun idea to do, so we'll see what happens with that. So I need that to come down. So here, I know this comes to more of a point for everything, and then trying to get some of these proportions in right based on Ceruledge's kind of like Pokemon design. I will be changing the features up a little bit once we get to the get to add Millie's kind of details into the character. I think that'll really start to make the character pop a little bit in terms of design and everything that's happening. It says, well, it makes sense why Loki wanted the moniker. It does in the end once you found that bit out. Best way to beat Loki, place a box in front of him. I do like that idea. And also, hi Stella, how's it going? Necron Raven says, I might do Dr. Virus for the redraw video. I might do Dr. Virus not for this redraw video, but maybe the next redraw video. Possibly. It depends if the theme fits on that, because it's a case of I don't know what's happening with the February one yet in terms of what the theme is. I've got a few planned out, and we'll see how that goes for those. Kind of want to vary it a little bit as well, just while things are settling in at the start of the year. I'm trying to get a better balance between the live streams and videos. So I'm hoping to do one live stream a week. It's probably going to alternate between a Monday and a Wednesday each week. And then, yeah. Hey, Fatal Wolf. Nice to see you on the stream. Finally, something interesting to watch while I pack. Awesome. And Omen Heart says the only way to beat Loki is catnip. Yes.
No, that would just make him stronger.
Ben, I think I got that written down, but feel free to just drop it in the chat. Yeah, Ben, he's he might be doing it next Monday. I know that he's got kind of the one for this week or this Friday is actually going to be a if I remember it rightly, it's going to be a compilation video with one new one at the start, so he's got a bit of a time off, but I know he has got the December redraw to finish off, which means that could be Monday. Setting up for the January side of things, which would be quite interesting, because I think it's Marvel DC Fusions for this one. Alpha Dragon says, hey Alpha Dragon, glad you can join the stream. Galahound19 asks, or says, a bit of a statement and a question. Thanks so much for using my Titania character in your new Terra team. You're welcome. By any chance, will you be using these characters again? I'm sure Tanya would forgive next and apologises. There is potential for them to show up again, whether it's a little icon picture like we've done with the narrators, or it's something a bit more in-depth like a rematch. Since the Terra team, as you called it, I might actually adopt that name. if I do, full credit to you there, Galahound19. Basically, the Terror team is they kind of trounced our narrators and left them feeling a bit sorry for themselves afterwards. They all got their butts kicked, really. So it's quite an interesting. Quite interesting to see what happens. I would like potentially to bring them in for a rematch later on, but we'll just have to see what happens on that one. It depends on the growth, the story, and what happens. But it would be good to give them maybe a rematch next Christmas and have them in a normal video and have them actually come up on top and win. That being said, it would be quite fun if they lost again. So it's quite interesting, that one. Necromaven suggesting for a community redraw Transformers. I have got that on the list. I just need to figure out the best way to do it. If I take your characters and turn them into Transformers, or take Transformers and turn them, your Transformer designs, and turn them into something else. I think that's the way it goes with most of the redraw themes. It's finding out which way around works better for them, and then obviously tying that in nicely. Yeah, Stella. She probably does like the creepypastas and enjoys it after reading them. Ben, I could still fuse characters depending on the criteria for it, so there is scope, but that's an interesting point. Although I do know there were other characters. There was another character. Was it Shadow Lord? I think the name was Shadow Lord. Please correct me, Necrom, if that's the case. Was also submitted on this one. So I know you've got other characters which can potentially be used. Would be quite good. Galahad19 says, how about taking our monster designs and turning them into Transformers? We have that Beast Wars movie right around the corner. That's a good idea, actually. Ben asks, Hellmon into a series? Potentially. We'll have to think of what else we could do for the characters to go into it. Omen Heart says, turn our characters into Transformers and Venomize them. I do like that idea as well. Hi Justin, how's it going? Glad you could join us. It's nice to see a lot of regular faces on the stream. It's one of the fun things that we've got is seeing these regular, well, seeing you guys. It's quite nice on the stream. I'm just figuring out how I'm going to do this pose. Didn't really want to do a straight copy, but I might have to just go with that and tweak it in a little bit. We'll go with this for now and then tweak it in a little while. Just looking at how all these proportions go. I know this is like an armoured Pokemon, but it's got quite a few it's simple, but it's not simple, if that makes sense. I think I've done some of the shapes a little bit too big. That's what's looking wrong. Let's have a look. That's a bit for the leg. Got this a bit here. The other side seems to have what looks like to be part of the armor bit here. Comes up here and then joins like this kind of neck piece that they've got. And we've got this kind of bit on the back of the character that looks things. And we've got a little line in and around there. That's down a notch. I feel the head's a bit too far forwards on this. I might keep that. Don't know if the head's a bit too far forward or the neck's just a bit. Right, that's what's looking a bit odd. That's too long and too large. Which means that then comes up a little bit. Obviously I'll be adding the fused parts in as I go along in a little bit. It should be quite cool. Also guys, if you're in the stream and you're enjoying the stream, be sure to hit the like button. It does help get this out to more people and shows that you're enjoying the kind of content that we're doing on the channel. Quite interesting to see part of the design behind this part of the Pokemon. It's kind of a it's got a few interesting shape designs on this for where bits kind of go. I haven't played the new Pokemon game yet. Have any of you guys played it? I've seen it, but I haven't played it. Just wondering what your thoughts are on the Pokemon. From what I've seen so far, it looks quite interesting, and I might have to save up to actually get a Switch and to actually play the game myself. I like that, Stella. I choose you, Mille. Yeah, that could be the name for this one, actually. I'm liking it so far.
What about Ceruledge?
That's not too bad too. Go for dude. Welcome, and the first thing that I've seen you say is, why are you guys sacrificing TKK to not Loki? That makes no sense at all. Justin says, I beat both versions and I got a shiny yesterday. Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to beat Scarlet. It's not working, but I'm trying.
Yeah. This way you say that and something good happens.
Yeah. I got the lower form of Ceruledge.
Ha, nice. I can get some of these details in for this base form. I'll start tweaking some of these and adding the cool design from our character into it. Go for Do says it makes complete sense. Fair enough. Is that aimed at me, Galahad 19? It's quite cool and quite interesting, actually. I couldn't figure out what it was, but it's definitely definitely caught my attention. Go for Dude says, "Oh hi, that kind of artistic kid, just off screen as always."
Yeah. Hi.
Ben says, "TKK, is that Rita Repulsa behind you?"
No, but it is Dempsey's artwork.
Fair enough. Galahad 19, that's because I'm starting off with a Pokemon base like I've done with the rest of them, and then I add the extra details of the Helluva Boss character. So Millie will be having her details added on top of this design at the moment. It's just to get an overall sketch of the character and pose in place so that we've got a starting point, really. Dark Lord Space Castle, howdy. You guys vote one arm. Alpha Dragon votes one arm beat a giant axe. Does Millie use a giant axe then? Let me just check that out. Oh, she has got an axe in someone's fan art. Oh, that's interesting. I will... Let's have a look at the axe. Let's get a reference picture up. Well, fair enough. Yeah, in that case, we'll we will do that. Actually, I think I'll let me get the other arm in of Ceruledge how it is, and we'll change one of them to be an axe afterwards. That's fine. I'll add the axe in as a part of the design. That's not a problem. I'll look to add the axe in on the character. I'm happy to do that. It'll make it a bit more interesting and I think striking for a, sort of like a Hellmon character to have an axe as well as a sworded blade. So we'll do that. If it's something that she's had in the show, potentially it's something that can be used here as well. They like this advert, don't they? I'm not sure which arm's going to become the axe yet, so I wanted to pencil in both of these bits just to make sure I've got the rough bases of them both. So in a minute we'll start bringing this a bit more to life with the design. Massive kind of like shielded leg piece armor. do need to shrink or move this up a bit just to make it a tiny bit more to the design. I think the main body needs to be a bit smaller for this one. So the head can be a bit larger. And the main body, that's why. Yep, I think that's a bit better for the Ceruledge kind of like sketch. Just add this final bottom piece. That's the main basis of the kind of the Pokemon element. Which is quite cool. So I'll shrink that down a little bit and then we'll start adding the extra bit on top for our Hellmon. So start with the head and look at this. Kind of, so it makes sense. I kind of want the... So she's got quite big eyes, which we can have, but they've got this kind of like eyelash bit at the bottom. So let's... I do kind of want to keep the flame. Does it work on like the soul flame coming up? Go for dude. I might stop watching because I'm watching Bob's Burgers. That's fine. Just keep the stream going. Justin says, does any of the narrators have siblings? You'll be down to draw a sister for Nexum. They don't currently, but potentially that's an option. Galahad 19, I will be on a couple of them. One or two will be item based, but there will be a few that will become more freaky monster designs for the SCP bits, branching on more the SCP side of things. I did kind of a soft intro into it where it was recognisable for some of the bits. For like Batman, he doesn't really have any powers, so the cowl being something that takes you to an alternate reality and puts you in the traumatic series of Batman that can actually kill you was quite a interesting concept. Right, what can we do for this next bit? Need to think about the top of the head. Kind of like that eye piece that they've got, but I don't want metal horns. Maybe I should turn the flames into more of a horn design. So her horns are actually made from like the flames coming out the top. Because we didn't actually do that on one of the other ones that was suggested. I think it'd be quite cool to have kind of these horns of flames coming out the top for a Hellmon. Will be quite interesting for that to figure out what's going on and everything. Quite like that coming out the top. do think we need to add some kind of Alright, let's get back to the head design. So she's got long eyelashes, but we don't want to do that. She's got bottom bits coming out here, which we can kind of do for a base the Pokemon. I'm thinking of changing this dark colour bit of the face red. I know most of it's underneath this armour, and we'll keep some of the armour going. Maybe we should add some hair coming out. Maybe the... Okay, I got another idea for the horns. Let's just erase these flames for now. I'll take the suggestion we add yeah, we might have some rune designs on there for the Hellmon thing, but I'm just looking at the best way to add the horns. I think the horns are going to be here like we had suggested. I've got another idea to do the it's got 3 white bits for the horns. Justin Deere says, why not make the armor maroon or magenta? Potentially. I kind of like the idea of blending the purple in with some of the reds and stuff. Kind of give that. Kind of like that Miraidon one that we did with... I think, was it Luna Miraidon? No, it was Blitzo Miraidon. That kind of design would be quite cool. I'm also thinking of potentially making these gaps kind of like heart shaped, and then have that weird kind of like gem bit in it, just to kind of tie in with the tattoo on her arm, because Millie's got that heart shaped tattoo, which I think would be quite nice incorporating the design a bit more, because she seems a bit sweet, but also quite well, I say mischievous. Probably not someone you want to trust too much. Shade Hunter, welcome to the stream. Millie and Ceruledge, yep. I'm guessing Moxie is going to be Armor Rouge then. That has been suggested, and that's a potential one for the next one. Necron Raven says they're going now. Thank you for being on the stream, and we'll catch you next time. Yep. Shade Hunter, sweet but lethal, definitely sounds like the vibe I'm getting for the character. Keep this kind of helmet. Kind of want to keep a few recognizable features from the sign. Oh, I didn't actually know that. No, it's the slight color shift change here. Don't know if that's just the shadow on the Pokemon or not, but we'll keep that. Kind of want to do part of her hair in a minute, and this is the reason why I've kind of taken the horns to be at the side rather than anywhere else. We need to draw the horn come out here a little bit. I'm thinking it's got this funky hairstyle, but I kind of want to make don't know if I'm going to pull this off. She's kind of got these bits that come here. Trying to make them a bit fiery for the... I know what I want to do, I don't know if I'm going to pull this off quite as well as I'm after. Try and get the general shape of the hair in a little bit, but because she's got this kind of like flamed hair, I want it to kind of like just give it that, not quite a mohawk, but it's kind of like that bit at the front. Go for today. It says Dempsey, what's your plan for the narrators versus Loki storyline that's going on? In what way? The narrators are kind of like pulling themselves back together now because they've basically got beat up by the Terror Team, as Galahound 19 calls it. So they're going to be recovering and coming to terms with that over the next couple of videos, and determined on not having such a humiliating defeat again. That's kind of the main focus at the moment. Obviously Loki's kind of run off with some information, so there's going to be some there's going to be an episode at some point where we find out a bit more about what was actually taken. Hola, Phenomice Toothless, how's it going? There's a couple of nice fusion suggestions coming up in the chat. I haven't had a chance to I won't get a chance to put a lot in there. I'm trying to get some of the artwork done, but yeah, definitely some good suggestions going forwards. I might need to make that just a little bit more transparent so I can see a bit better what's actually going on around here. Kind of want to capture some of this hairstyle in a way. So it might be a bit fun to have a bit of a funky hairstyle on this one made out of the flames. Right, so I want to keep that on the back because that's quite an interesting element. It's got some armor around, but I want to fuse the armor a little bit, so we've got a bit of a mark like this going down for the armor, which is quite cool, and I want to keep this kind of like armor design bit, but I also want to make it a bit more flexible in a way. And I do want to put the kind of like the neck, the collar that she's got. Galahal19, those are some awesome SCP suggestions for the sequel, and I will be making a note of that, but going through the chat at the end. So yeah, but I will be having a look at a few more SCPs. There will be a second Venomized SCP series. I'm kind of thinking for the arm pieces, I want to break them up a bit. I know it's armoured and like Ceruledge, but I want to... I've got the feeling it wouldn't be quite... Maybe this one would have the armoured piece on it. But this one would be more just like... the arm. With that kind of design here. Yes, Stella, I do mean the choker. I was thinking Joker and then wasn't sure. Yes, Ben, that's also on the list for next year, a SCP as a supervillains episode at some point. Or superheroes, supervillains. I did enjoy doing that, and I have a few lined up. I just never got round to doing a second one with all the suggestions and the fun stuff that happened on the channel. Kind of weird saying next year because that's coming up rather soon. End of the weekend. Also, there will be another booster pack art challenge coming up in January. I had fun doing that last time, so I'm definitely going to do another one of those. That's that, but I kind of want to... kind of feel this should be... I mean, I know the design for this is like quite heavily based on... I kind of feel it needs to just break up a little bit on that design, and then I think I'm going to split the design around here. So this arm is going to come in. Is that a badge on a chest or something? Oh no, it's two little bits for the lapel bit going down, that's fine. It's quite interesting. Zenith says, Phobia Dragon Free-For-All. My vote is on the Bean Dragon. Who wins, Dempsey? Whoever I decide to win in the lore is going to win. But, yeah, that Bean Dragon's definitely going to be an interesting one to beat. I feel that's not quite right. Even though it's armor, I think it will still be about here. Which means this has to come down quite a fair bit. It's quite nice fleshing out some of these ideas on here just to see what's going to actually happen with the design, and add a bit of the... I kind of want to add a bit of the demon humanoid element to it, because that would be quite nice. And I will be adding her tail into this in a little bit. I'm also thinking for the axe, potentially this side here. It would be quite cool to actually drop that axe into... In fact, let's do that. Let's drop that axe into this. So, I want it to kind of start off the same as the sword. kind of got a similar feel to it and kind of like design to it, and then just drop the axe into it. It's kind of like a, because I do like the way that it's got this design here, but I think for the axe probably come out a bit more now. She's got that huge circular kind of like logo with an M in it. And this bit would probably be like Ceruledge. It would be built out of the flames, so this would have still have some flames coming out here and the ghostly flame aura, but then it would become quite let's get the solid bit of this in. Galahound, is that to me that question about what Pokemon would I fuse with Stolas? Because I'm not really sure which one I'd probably do. I guess it depends on what Pokemon would fit quite nicely. It does vary based on designs and that. I kind of think it's go with an obscure one. Question is just which one would be obscure enough but also make the most sense. So this axe design kind of lends itself really well. It's like changing the subject there. Axe design kind of this axe design kind of lends itself really well to the ghost energy vibe from the kind of like blades on Ceruledge. I am going to cheat with this though. I am going to just replicate this. And kind of just merge it down and take out these bits that are not really meant to be here because they'll be behind the character. Just to show like this giant axe in their arm. Stella, don't jinx it by saying you feel like a bot is going to appear soon, because it probably will do. Darkrai might be an interesting one. I'd kind of want to go in the opposite direction though. If Darkrai's an obvious one, I'd want to go with another one. There's, what's that opposite one of Darkrai? It's kind of like that psychic. They had it in an episode. Kind of like it's like the islands. They go to two different islands. One's the opposite of each other, so one goes from the moonlight. I can't remember which one it was though, but I'd kind of want to go that way with it because that'd be quite interesting. And now that I've got that axe out of the way, let's go back to this design. Oh, definitely inking on this, Justin. These aren't paintery style ones. These are actually full-on inked Pokemon style ones that, in my normal style. It may have a few paintery aspects added to it, but basically these are completely inked version. So after I finish this line art, I'll be doing the inks round for it. Oh, sorry, Justin. For you, go with no inking, because worst case scenario, you can always add a layer of inking at the very end. But try no inking to start with. See how that turns out. Sorry, I thought you were on about for this one, because normally you ask about inking or not inking on it. Galahad19 says, My Hero Academia, if they're a steampunk universe with Deku, Momo, Ropey and Bakugo would be a good start with. That would be quite an interesting one. I do have to finish off my steampunk narrator episode. I have started it. I have planned out what characters and what series. That's about as far as I got. I haven't actually drawn it. I will be doing more drawings over the course of the next week or two. While I've got a bit of time off, I plan to get as much in as possible. Kickstart ahead for the year a little bit on a few things. Yeah, Ben's kind of right on that, Justin. That would be my Mage Academia, but maybe another series going into that would be quite interesting to do. I've got a few, I say, I'm trying to get a better balance between the live streams and the normal videos, so I'm trying to get a couple more videos back on a Monday, but where I've got some commitments on the odd Monday evening, which means I'll get back late, those will be live streams. Ideally it'll be every other week unless something comes up, so the way I see it going forwards is, for example, the 9th of January will be a live stream. The following week on the Monday won't be, but that Wednesday on the following week, so I think around the, is it the 18th? That would be a live stream, but you'd get a normal video on the Monday and the Friday that week. So I'm trying to get back to doing a video Mondays and Fridays, but keep the live streams up. But I'm trying to get balance so that it works quite nicely for everything that we're doing, which will be quite good. Right, let's have a look at the... Oh, it's not much in for the legs actually on this character from it, so we'll have a bit of fun to see what we come up with. Keep the armour. I have noticed I might need to add a couple white bits there. Still got to add the tail in, which should be quite interesting. In fact, why don't we shift this a little bit of the angle? I feel that's too close. I feel that's a bit better. Kind of just bring it out a little bit, just to give a bit of dimension to it. Well, the legs for the most part are gonna be almost the same, but I kind of want to do something interesting with them. What can I do? Oh, Venomized Toothless, that's interesting. My Hero Academia Cryptics. Ben suggests Ben 10's Magical Girls. That'd be a uniquely interesting series. Okay, swapping Cryptics into My Hero Academia, that'd be quite interesting. That leads to some rather interesting quirks, actually. Have that there. I want to keep the kind of design that we've got going for these leg pieces, and then we'll change the feet at the bottom, and then we'll start inking this. I think we've got quite a nice type of design concept coming along here. Don't think there's much to do on the feet. I think I'll just split them a little bit down the center and just make them come back a bit further for this. I do know I've still got to add her tail into it, but just overall design kind of would just split that slightly and give red toes. Justin, I'm not sure what you call it, but there is a character in, I think it's the daily life of a demon emperor or demon king, and his magical ability is he can shout words and they actually become a physical manifestation of the word, like 3D giant text. The bigger the word, the bigger the actual, the amount of words, the more sort of like words objects fly at them. So it probably sounds like something like that. Right, let's figure out this tail. Usually it curves behind, so it's gone that way and this way, so let's the tail kind of goes like that with a white bit. That's too basic for a Pokemon, especially one in armor. So let's mimic some of this armor actual design for the tail. And then what we can do is we can actually make it like the make it like the flame from Ceruledge's blade. Might need to adjust the angle of that slightly again, because as much as I want them to be making sense in the shot, I kind of want it to be a bit separated. So we get rid of that first layer that we did. This is kind of the final layer I'm going to play around with for our design to see what we get. Which could be quite interesting. What do you guys think of it so far, or the overall concept? I mean, it's not going to really pop until we add a bit more of the kind of like design over to it and finalise it a bit more. Might need to tweak a couple of angles on this, but that's not a bad call there, actually. Yeah, Ben. Maybe tail is armor and is being controlled by the dark fire that Ceruledge has. Possibly, it could also be just a tail that kind of like goes into that dark fire mode. But what we're going to do is we're going to start working on the actual inks for this one now. Make sure that's turned on. What I want to do is I kind of want to do the bits that the flame slightly differently, so I want to do them as kind of the colour we're going to use for the flames. Actually no, I'll actually ink them as a solid ink line, and I'll amend the colour at the end if we go to change that. That might actually be the best way about doing this. Cool, glad you guys are liking how it's looking so far. Kind of weird to think this is potentially the last illustration of the year that's going to be done on a on the actual channel, where I may draw stuff for next year's video content. This is pretty much the last actual video that's happening, or stream for the year. So it's kind of been a bit of an epic year with a bit of a lot happening really. It's gone from having a shout out in May from Popcross to where we are today. So from something like 600 subscribers potentially up to the 2,230 odd I think we've got, which is absolutely fantastic and absolutely insane. And we ended up hitting the, well, taking the plunge into live streams this year, which was quite good. Working on and building that up, which is quite an interesting experience. Especially with the green screen of death that we had. And then, yeah, just building up from there. Minecraft Transformer says, congrats, thank you for that. Galahad19 says, so what's your New Year's resolution? Mine is to get a better better YouTube work-life balance. Working 9 to 5 and then sometimes burning the candle both ends for YouTube is not ideal. So I'm trying to get a better balance by planning ahead more, which I've started early actually. I've started putting into a calendar all of the main kind of things for January and February to map out what's happening with that as such, which will hopefully work rather nicely and rather well. And if I can keep that up, which is going to be a lot of effort to be organised on my part, great things will happen for the channel. We've got the channel milestones for next year as well, which I'm aiming to hit. I've got 2 of them. One's realistic, one's pushing it, but we'll see what happens. So that'd be quite good. The one where I'm being realistic is I want to get in the YouTube partnership program by end of May, at the by start of May really, and hopefully I'll be able to do that, which would be absolutely awesome if that is possible to do. Then the other milestone is at least hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of sort of like the year. I appreciate sometimes it's difficult to get the subs to grow on the channel, but I'm not focusing on subscribers. I'm going to focus on content and you guys in the community more than anything else. So once I get into the partnership program, I'm going to look for what I can do that gives back to you guys a little bit, and things that I can do that will be extra benefits for you guys while not hindering my New Year resolution, which will be quite fun. So there'll be a few things happening on the Discord. If I get into the partnership program, there'll be a new section on our Discord. Woo! That'll be quite fun. And then yeah, just build it up from there. Also to experiment a bit more with a few things. So like the AI generated art I put the poll out for, I'm definitely going to be doing something with that, and I think the first one might be redrawing AI generated Pokemon types and putting them in a lore, or Digimon or something, and then build that on to be more kind of like expand on that more. So it's going to be like we've got the Hellmon or something, like mech armors or something, and just maybe I'll put Immortal Lord of Dreams and see what gets generated, and we can do that on a live stream. So when the advert comes up, we can go, yeah, we've got this illustration for it. No, I want to branch out to see what it's like for the AI generated art. I know it's a controversial topic, a very controversial one, but I want to use it as an idea and see how well it works for concept creation, which I think would be rather fun. So using what's generated from where it scans the web and merges it together to bring out a more unique, shall I say, outcome, sort of like a design, or spark a unique, kind of like the origins of a design. I think that's probably the best way that AI art can be used. Other than that, I feel AI generated art just takes away from a whole lot from what artists can actually do. There's a certain feel to art that's been created by an artist compared to the AI. Even if it's taking it from resources that artists have done, you can tell it's you can just tell it's an AI piece. Really, it just loses its essence. What about you guys? What resolutions have you got, or what are your goals for next year? Personal ones, or YouTube ones if you've got a YouTube channel. I'd be interested to see what you guys put as well, because I'm sure you've got some, probably got some better ideas than what I've got for the resolution. Transformers going for the monetized one, which is always a good one to have. Hopefully you're on track for that, for where you want to be and by when, Minecraft. Have to say, I was pleasantly surprised this month to be ahead of schedule from where I'm planning. Fingers crossed. Complete fingers crossed, touch wood. Not jinxing it, but yeah. Stella wants to improve their drawings. It's always a good one. And as they say, practice makes improvement. Kind of moved away from the practice makes perfect speech to improvement. And Zenith says, my resolution, I guess, is to actually start on the comic part of my Undertale fan comic thingy that I've been working on. That'd be quite cool. I'm not putting it as a resolution, but I do have a... I don't know if I have time to do that. I did start planning out a comic a while ago.
Oh, years back.
A couple years back. I've got 5 pages of, sort of like 5 chapters of a manga style comic with like 16 pages jotted out. Never did any artwork past the first 2 pages. I got stuck on yeah, I got stuck on the character design. I got 3 of the character designs kind of done, and then it was like the rest of the characters I found so difficult to draw. It's weird. The story was easy, The actual character designing is more difficult. I might have to come back to it at some point, maybe near the latter part of next year, depending how things go. If people want to see it, I might turn it into something that I do with the channel as a series, like every now and again, just work on it. But yeah, it's kind of a one of them projects that started but never got anywhere, which is kind of my bad. That kind of artistic says, I'd say monetize, but I can't set that up yet, so I'd say get into 1,000 subscribers. That's a good milestone to get to. Venomized Toothless says, I'm making a Pokemon one-shot manga and I have 48 rough draft pages. Nice. Currently making more detailed sketches of the pages. Yeah, it's a never-ending process. Senif says, luckily I don't have to make the character design since I'm using Undertale. That is true. That's a small... I say small, that's a massive advantage over everybody else that you've kind of got. Have a look at the chat again in a little bit, guys. I just want to get some more of this drawing done, keep things... I think that's the other thing I'm also trying to get done, this part of the whole balance thing is... Meerkat's telling me if they think an ad's coming, it's their part of the ad. Yeah. Now, I think the other thing in terms of balance is I want to get the balance between actually having some drawing going and not being like 22 minutes into a stream before we actually start drawing. Even if it's just something on screen when we start, I like the idea of getting the kind of few of the concepty bits down, or the designs and that first, and just trying to organise myself a bit better. That kind of artistic kid is still trying to learn how to create Pokemon character designs. I'm sure that'll happen over time. Minecraft Transformers. My Devastator Part 2 had 50k views. It's still my highest view video, so I'm hoping to make a second G1 Devastator and have the same effect in overall. That's awesome. Was that a long form or a short? But that's amazing. I've the only videos I've ever had come close to that, I boosted when they first came out using AdSense, which I do not recommend anyone to do. I learnt the hard way. You get the views, but you don't get the subscribers or the returning views. They're all one-shot wonders, and unless you're doing products and marketing products, and that's what kind of feel you want, yeah, no, it completely and utterly destroyed things at the start for me. I've had a very difficult slog, as it were. I say slog, but a hard time getting up to where I am today, I think, because of that starting point with the views and then dropping suddenly to be more organic. So going from like 12 or 3 views a video down to 200, 300. I think YouTube's kind of, yeah, not liking it. Wow, a long form video. Minecraft Transformers, that is amazing. And Justin's got, my goal is to try and learn that Yuki Tabata's art style, aka creator of Black Clover. Yeah, I'd say just keep at it, keep practicing. That's the best way to learn an art style. Draw the pictures that they draw and see if you can break down how they've drawn it, and just take it from there. There's a certain mastery to drawing someone else's art style as well, without any step-by-step guides. Landon Riley, will you do a Promised Neverland variety episode when you have the time? Yes, when I get the time I will. I need to re-watch the Promised Neverland for some of the character designs and that, and it is on the list of ones to do. I just haven't had a chance to. But while I'm planning out next well, next year's artwork and stuff, I will see what I can do about adding that into there. I do remember, I think you've asked for it before, and it is definitely on my list of ones to do. I've got to get that balance as well. Everything's about balance in 2023. I want to get that balance between the existing series and getting a few new ones in there as well. I think that's the best way to do it. Introduce a couple as we go. However, I will say there may be the start of a series, but depending on how it goes, it may not get a second episode for a while, depending on how many series or requests we get, because obviously there's only so much time and so much you can do. That being said, there's a few other ones going. So SCP Superheroes Part 2, a booster art pack challenge, something with AI arts coming next year. We've got something where I'm messing around with the narrators and turning them into something else, kind of like a variety episode of sorts. I'm going to take the narrators and I'm going to put them in another universe, kind of like the folklore one that Popcross did, but it's not a folklore universe. I just like the idea of maybe creating different versions of the narrators. Although if I can't think of any versions, I will whack it into a community redraw and let you guys do it. Get you guys to do all the hard work for me. No, I've got a few ideas of what I can do, but I don't know if I'm going to do one series for it or not, just to see what happens. I'm also trying to work on the videos a bit, so you'll see from time to time that I'll be, like when the live streams are Hellmon and they reference Pokemon, you might get a video with Pokemon a little bit later on afterwards. Oh, Senev's got main narrators versus their AU counterparts. Alternate universe counterparts, could be. Maybe I should do a redraw. You guys design alternate, like ridiculous alternate versions of the narrators at some point. That'd be quite an interesting one. Right, I think that will force I have it there. Right. Only one way to find out. Make sure I'm on the right layer to select what I want. I believe I have. I just need to increase the selection a little bit on a few areas to hoping the lineup round it's not too bad in some areas. Just to quickly tidy it up. This is the more tedious bit of the stream, but it's the bit that we kind of cut out the videos for you guys to enjoy. I say it every time, most of you guys have been here and you know the process, but for those that are new, it's just tidying up the edges so that when the artwork gets printed you don't have any weird white bits around the edge. Depending on how your style is, it's the only major drawback other than having to manually do the gradients in Procreate, which I hope they sort at some point. Minecraft. Question for you, Minecraft Transformers. If it's okay to ask, that 5,000 views, that must have seriously boosted your like watch time goal towards monetization and that. Are you far away from it now, or are you have you still got a little bit of a way to go? I'm just curious if I'm going to be saying congrats to you before you say congrats to me, really, in all fairness. Because it'll be well earned when you get to that point. Zenith also says a Bean alternate universe Nexum. That'll be interesting. And Justin goes, they've got tons of ideas for alternate versions of the narrators.
Pokemon universe Nexum is Nexum Ketchum.
Oh my god, no. Yeah, he's going to replace... actually, yeah, we can do a Nexum Ketchum character from the Pokemon universe. He's going to replace Ash because, you know, they're getting rid of him. In the TV series. Which is quite interesting. I suppose he's been gone from the games for quite a while now anyway. So they'll just bring the series up to date with the games. Think about it. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was 2 years ago when it went viral, so it's not helping you. Well, at least it helped you back then, which is quite cool. But yeah, if you can hit that again, that would be absolutely awesome. As I say, I'm hoping by May to be able to hit that milestone. Yeah, Justin, the characters called Rika and Roy are replacing Ash. I think it's sad in a way because he's been the mainstone for every single Pokemon series going, like every single animated one. However, I think it's quite nice that they're actually bringing another set of protagonists in instead of just changing someone he interacts with. Because I suppose looking at it, I know he's classic, you know, he's like OG, the original Pokemon trainer. But the drawback is, one, he doesn't age, he's like immortal. And two, it's just the same thing with him now every single time. It's like he chooses Pikachu and they vary it up with a couple of Pokemon, but he always goes back to Pikachu saving him. And it'd be nice to see another main Pokemon or you know, another character of their Pokemon journey and that. So it's kind of, I know it's still going to be the same storyline, but it's a bit more refreshed. Yeah, Team Rocket probably will leave with him as well. Yeah, Justin, how's he getting stronger after he's the world champion? By capturing all the Pokemon, and new ones come out every day, so unless he's got immortality, he's never going to actually succeed.
Yeah, he's never going to catch them all.
I mean, when it was the first 150, that was realistic. Now there's something
the
like...
rate that they're pumping out Pokemon and games, he's never going to catch them all.
Yeah, there's like 1,000 plus, 2,000, 3,000, I don't know how many. It feels like there's about 4,000 or 5,000 Pokemon with all their like evolution forms and variants. So for him to capture them all is going to be absolutely insane. Yeah, that's true, Justin, but even if he's battling a lot more nowadays, it's still kind of just the same. He goes, meets somebody new, you find the Pokemon, they go on a bit of an adventure, he makes friends with some stranger through some...
Makes friends with the legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, makes friends with some strangers through whatever it is, goes on an adventure with them as they're starting their journey, and it just resets him to like their level when he's battling, and you're thinking, wait, hang on a minute, you've had all these experiences in the past, which point are we at now where you haven't aged, where you've met them, and you're struggling to beat a simple Pokemon? That should be nowhere near the level of all the Pokemon you've caught on that. But it will be interesting to see what happens with the franchise and stuff. It's kind of, I'm curious how many people are in it for the Pokemon and how many people are in it for Ash. Hey Tegan, welcome to the stream, and hi, the demon has appeared. Hi. Venomous Toothless. One thing that always vexed me is that he never gains currency. How does he afford all the Pokeballs to catch his Pokemon? Professor Oak.
He makes them using Pikachu's Iron Tail.
He makes them using Iron Tail. He's actually stole them all from Team Rocket. Every time they blast off again, he picks them all up. Because saying about that, the amount of Pokeballs Team Rocket always seem to have full of Pokemon, they don't need to steal anyone. They just have to say, boss, we need some Pokemon, and off you go. They got hundreds of them. Anyone joining the stream, if you're wondering what I'm doing, we've got the basic fusion of Millie and Ceruledge done. Or Ceruledge, as I've been changed or corrected on how I pronounce it. I'm going to pronounce it wrong again. But, you know, the lovely armoured ghost Pokemon from Violet and Scarlet. I'm just tidying up the lines around it before we add flat colours and start adding them together and working on it. Right, hopefully there isn't too much left to do on this. I think it's just this part of the head and working our way around the other half of the body. Yeah, there's a little bit more to do on this. I appreciate this is kind of like the boring, tedious bit where people jump off the stream, and there's not much I can do about that. But if you bear with us, you'll start to see this illustration come to life a bit more in a little while. I have to say, I'm quite enjoying drawing Pokemon. I've been watching, is it Trees? What was it? It was that Tree Summit 7. Green Tree 7, wasn't it?
True Green 7.
Oh, sorry, True Green 7. Okay, I've been watching True Green 7 and a few of the other Pokemons.
Moxie Draws.
Yep, and Moxie Draws, where they create their own Pokemon and that for kind of inspiration and stuff, and they used an AI generator to make some Pokemon, and I thought, that's a cool idea, let's give that a go. And then I thought, what else could we do with the AI generator if that works? So we'll see how it goes with the Pokemon, and then we'll look to maybe to do some kind of I could put in suggestions for like a Pokemon based mech armor or the characters and see what they come up with to see if we've got some really cool ideas. I could even test out a new series concept with mech armors or dragons as phobias with some of these sort of like things being designed. Galhow19 says, hey, if you're doing the booster art pack challenge again, will you be using Yu-Gi-Oh again? They got the best master designs. Yes, I will be doing another. It's going to be again Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh booster cards, basically, because I can use them afterwards. I've got a Pokemon deck and I've got a Yu-Gi-Oh deck and tons of cards, so if I use them I can incorporate them into what I use afterwards to make the to get the best value out of it, really. So I do actually have, surprise surprise, I do actually have some packs ready for when we do them, or when I do the actual booster pack bit, that have been unopened for pretty much the last month. And being Christmas and opening stuff, I really wanted to open them and go, yeah, what have I got? What have I got? But I need to do it right. So I'm waiting on, and I'm debating getting maybe another pack each in a week or so, just to make it like 3 packs like the last one, or just pick more out of pick 2 out of each sort of like booster pack to do, if we've got cool enough designs for it. Zenith says, a dumb idea, though it's often the best, of using Scarlet Red Dragon Arch themed with various Pokemon from Pokemon Scarlet. Possibly. I mean, if there is a suggestion of an actual Yu-Gi-Oh or an actual monster to fuse with Pokemon, or, you know, certain Pokemon and that, feel free to let me know in the comments on the stream after it's gone, or you know, the community posts and stuff, and I'll look at them because I really enjoyed how the last set from the Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon fusions came out, especially like the Melodic and rock scales that came, you know, the first one that I did with those vibrant colors, that just seemed absolutely insane. But no, I'm happy to take like ideas for fusions for those and make it into more of a series. I have also Venomous Toothless. I have had a look at some of them. They're the ones where they say, what if Pokemon were in like a Greek region, aren't they? Or looking at all the Pokemon design, they say Fakemon designs for a particular region that people have come up with, and there's some amazing designs on there. So I have been watching a few of them. I know they have come up once or twice. Haven't watched tons of them. Justin's just put Nexum Sisters design on the fan art. That'll be the section in the Discord. I will be checking that out after the stream. I tend to not have Discord open because too many connections and things will lag the stream. Hence why I've got the music coming from a separate device than the actual laptop, so it's not streaming it down. Hopefully keeping this all nice and tidy. Galahound 19. Oh, my favourite Yu-Gi-Oh monster is Gifrid the Iron Knight. Yes, that's a cool character. I think the only drawback with doing this Hellmon is there's more of a, because of the fire design and the armor, there's a lot more of a silhouette to do, but it's going to be quite interesting. I do really enjoy this Hellmon series though, like creating new forms of Pokemon by fusing them. Maybe I should make a Hellmon Sona where I'm like a Pokemon trainer for all of these kind of like ones. So, has anybody had any interesting things happen in the last, well, over Christmas? Any interesting stories that are shareable? Or big news that's kind of like blown your mind and you've gone, oh my god, what? Ah, that's a sealed off section. I need to go back to that in a minute. Shade Hunter says, if I do make a Hellmon trainer Sona, recommend fusing the official Dex entry with the character bios that are fused with. Oh yes, I will do. If I make a Hellmon Sona, I'll be making a brand new, I'll make it as an actual video on the channel, and I will be making, it'll be like a group photo picture of myself as a trainer, or a version of myself as a Hellmon trainer. That could be very interesting. And then I'll probably create a couple new Hellmon to be used on there, which will probably come out really nicely in the end, actually. But yeah, I've always wanted to do a Pokesona for me, sort of like as a trainer, but I've never really gotten around to drawing myself as a character, so it's just figuring out how I do that. It sounds daft, but it's like the image of you, but you want it to look like you at the same time, so it's recognizable. But at the same time, you often want it to be cooler than what you are. So, it could be quite interesting. I will also, because we were speaking about doing, just a heads up for people in case they want to watch them, the painter kind of like digital painting style has been brought up a few times on streams, as in can I do illustrations in that style. So I did test the waters on the last stream and a few people liked the idea. I will be using some of the live streams every now and again, maybe 1 or 2 of them a month, possibly on a Wednesday to be honest, when I do them, to do a kind of like a profile-ish digital painting of a character from a series or something. 1 to practice the skill, and 2 to just have something that's a bit varied. Hey Furious445, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Alright, let's bring this a few layers in. So the original colour is kind of like this purplish colour that's got a touch of blue in it, kind of like more like, that's kind of like the original. Maybe it's more that colour. In fact, tell you what, let's make the background colour a bit darker for us to have the artwork stand out a bit while we do this. So that's the original armour bit there. Kind of. I suppose it is actually more of a darker bluey colour. That's it. That's the colour that we've got for the design. So I guess it's kind of working out what ones we want to use. Bear with me a minute, guys. I'm going to take the hoodie I've got on off because I'm starting to roast here in this art corner. That's a bit better. So, purplish base. I'm guessing being a Hellmon, I kind of like the light purple and that idea for the... Right, so it's kind of like a pinkish colour blending in, isn't it? So... we've just got to translate to a lot of the... See how this turns out a little bit. Might do a maroon armor still at some point, but looking to kind of like just add a bit of emphasis on this. And then we've got a lighter, kind of like a paler blue where some of these bits are. I feel like I missed a whole chunk of potential flame out, but yeah. That'll work for that. We'll use that for the flames for now. Right. I want it to bring the red colour into the kind of design a little bit. Now you've got a bit of the gradient effect, just to kind of want to just show part of the demon side underneath. That'll be pretty much showing through. Suppose this is quite an interesting style, the Hellmon fusions. In fact, that's the point. What do you guys want to see also fused with Pokemon? We've got Hellmon, and we're doing these sort of like Helluva Boss characters. That's why we came up with the name Hellmon. But I'd be really interested to see what other series we should potentially fuse with Pokemon, or even Digimon. You know, something to fuse up and make it a bit more interesting. So how about you guys give a couple of ideas, and we'll see what we can come up with for the for a series that we'll do. So I'll tell you what, I will leave the... So what I'll do is I will leave the Hellmon series to be live stream, is the plan. So we'll fuse the characters on these live streams, and you know, we can interact in that. But the actual series, similar to Hellmon or something like that, we'll put another series in, and we'll fuse them with the kind of Pokemon stuff or something, and we'll make it quite... We'll add some lore, doing the proper Pokedex in entries, like Shade Hunters suggested, where we fuse the character bio in with the Pokemon entry itself, and I can make a series on it with quite a few of the we can make an actual proper series on it, which will be quite fun. Deadpool Bishop? Possibly. Be interesting to see what kind of Pokemon you would fuse those with. I mean, Deadpool would be... people have drawn Deadpool and Pikachus before. A Deadpool Charizard.
Charcoal karaoke.
Oh, Charcoal Karaoke? Oh my god. Guys, save me now, please. I made a dad joke. Yes, I didn't make a deaf joke.
Well, you just made another joke because it's Deadpool and you just a death joke.
Well, that wasn't intentional, so... Let's get a few of these bits done. I do kind of like how this one's turning out. I think the thing I like the most is keeping the aspects of one of the characters and fusing the other character in with it to kind of create this mismatch where you can recognize the Pokemon it's from, but you can also, once you know what character's been a part of it, you can pick up on that as well. I feel I need more of the black. There's supposed to be more down here, isn't it? That's fine. kind of feeling there's a yellow aspect to Millie that needs to be added in on this design a little bit, and definitely needs to be added in for some of the effect here. I think I'll turn that black at the back as well, just to give a nice contrast of the flame on it. I'm thinking for the actual armor itself, I did want to try that actually. So someone suggested we go with like a dark maroon colour on the armor. I'm just wondering if we can cheat and just blend it up a bit. I'm just dropping this in as kind of like an experimentation on colour. A second. Maybe. Kind of like the ad layer, but it's not quite what I was expecting.
I'm about to get an honorary. I can't get Ceruledge.
Fair enough. Let's add this bit here. Oh, that's what I'll do. I wondered what to do, and I think I've just figured out if this works, it's going to look rather cool on the armor design. If it doesn't, I've probably overdone this one a little bit too much, but oops, that's too much. Yeah, I might have to tweak the colour of the armour just a little bit in a minute, but it's kind of getting the idea. Fuse precious gems with Pokemon like an Onyx could be fused with an Onyx. That's not a bad idea, Minecraft Transformers. It would be an interesting one. I'll leave that like that. It's kind of feel that needs to be black in the center there, or like a dark color. Definitely kind of interesting to see where this is going in terms of the general overall design of this. Well, something looked a bit odd here. Not sure if we're missing something. What are we thinking of this so far? Sorry. What are we thinking this so far? No. What are we thinking this so far? I kind of like it, but I think we're missing something. I don't know if it's just the armor design needs to be. I don't know if there's enough separation between the colours being used on the Almost feels like something's missing. Oh, we've got a question from Tegan. What's your advice on describing a demon? Because in Whereas World, purple light can see demons. Describing a demon, I guess it depends on what the demon's based on. If it's based on a type of fear, describe the fear or give it features that resemble that fear. So
say it was arachnophobia, give it 8 legs or 8 eyes.
Yeah, literally. If it was something like arachnophobia, give it spider features. If it's something like that, but describe it as the features. So if it's arachnophobia, and I'm apologising to anybody watching this who's got arachnophobia, but you'd say something like the creature had 8 long legs covered in hairs. On its face it looked like a set of eyes. When I blinked 1 minute, there was the next thing I knew, the eyes had multiplied and there's like 8 of them in total. Some fangs with venom dripping off them, and the whole cave around them area is covered in webs and that. You kind of like say all the key bits to give the impression of of all the kind of like features of the fear or the demon. So I guess describe it as much as you want to, but make sure you've got the key aspects that are the creepiest and scariest in there a little bit with detail. That might work. Yeah, I was thinking something about the chest stuff is a bit too light, but I was trying to figure out the best way to do. Maybe I need to make that darker bluish purple and then just drop that in here underneath. See how it looks. Actually, I quite like it when it's a bit darker like that. Good shout there, Senif. Yeah, I get what you mean there, Shaden. There's not much coloration to work here from a black, red, purple, blue type fusion, but ironically there's actually more colour that you can use. I will show that shortly. Even just by doing these bits where I take some of the main aspects and turn them a bit more darker, as it were, for a few bits of it, and then add the extra colours underneath. It's already kind of standing out a bit more to be dark. I suppose once I add the a few slightly brighter colours in a few areas in a minute, and then we get onto the like the rendering section of it, the lights and the shading, it's probably going to pop a bit more and come to life a bit more. At the moment it's kind of, they are the earlier stages of it, so they're kind of not quite as, say popping, but they're not quite as kind of, they just don't, they've not got that final finishing touch to them. Wrong way. Right, now on top of this I need to do a I will sort the bits that I've gone over in a second. Got to erase this blue light off this piece. Just it's going to pick up a little bit of blue, which I've got on the base layer underneath, but I want to take out this giant blue glow that's on it, other than from where it needs to be. Just kind of just adds to that a little bit, and the same up here. I know we've got the blue kind of like glow already on there, but I just want to dull it down a bit so that when we do our highlights and shadows it ends up standing out a bit better, or a bit more. That's not fun. Give me a second, guys, to sort the music. It's gonna create a mixed list, and it's mixed other stuff into it. I need to get the playlist for no copyrighted music, otherwise, whoopsie. That last song didn't sound much like one that I was used to. Yeah, that's definitely starting to stand out a bit more now, so I'm going to start adding the extra steps in a second. That's better, that's our normal playlist. So, now I need to fuse everything down into one layer. I want to just lock and keep that just in case, so this needs to go all the way down to here. Okay, I've got to do this one by one. The drawback with trying to do a group merge down with Procreate sometimes is it loses the layer style that's set to it, and when that happens it kind of yeah, it kind of just looks a bit funny. Okay, so I want to pick up the red and the kind of like the darker color and just add that final bit of gradient to it, really. And then we'll be good to do our main shadows and highlights, really. Oops, wrong part. It's always fun when you select something and it's the wrong bit. It highlights the entire page and you're like, uh-oh. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, so that's almost ready to do what we need to do. So first hard light pass for our noise layer, just to give it a bit of a texture as well, darken all the colours out a bit. And then we'll do our overlay layer just to highlight everything up a bit, just to emphasize a few areas I want to keep, even though they're dark. I want to just give the idea of the light coming from them, and then once we actually do the next stage, it should hopefully, I say hopefully, this process works all the time normally, it should do what we want with our layers, really. That one and that one. Soft brush. there, that there. Cool. So now we can start adding a bit more detail into this. Yeah, I think it is too starting to kind of look the part and get the bits, get to the kind of like feeling for it. Dark Lord Space Castle says pretty rad, thank you. Point, how are we doing on the stream so far? We've got, cool. I think we've got more likes than we've got viewers at the moment, which is awesome. Well, I'm going to continue until this one's done because why not? We've got the time. So let's start bringing this one to, well, as I say in the videos, let's start bringing this illustration to life. Venom's Toothless is totally tubular. Yeah, this is why we call them Hellmon, because they definitely look like they start coming from hell at the end. No worry, Furious445, thank you for joining the stream, and I'll catch you later on. Resentful axe. That could be a signature move, yeah. I'm not going to go to OTT on detail like with the other one because it is still, in essence, a form of Pokemon, even though it's a Hellmon. But I will be putting a bit more detail into a few bits just to make it kind of like work. I will be leaving the kind of like the flame hair till last. I think I'm going to figure out the best way to do that. And I think what I'll do is I'll work my way through the actually I'll work through the sections like this. So let's see what we come up with the actual section design as we're doing it. same time, I still need to get the essence of what I class as armor in my designs. A little bit on the skin too, just to give a bit of texture. I'm kind of using Ceruledge a little bit for the lighting on this, but majority of it is coming from where the light would be going. Just from the shape of everything. I could turn... Ben says you could turn planets into Lantern Courts, making your own versions of Green Lantern Courts. Possibly, but the Green Lantern Court itself does have a living planet as a lantern in the DC series. I forget the name of it, but there is a living planet as a part of their... as a part of their sort of like team. Let's see how this is actually going to look on the design a little bit. Yes, Shade Hunter, that's right, Murgo. Yeah, we could it is possible to do stuff like that. It would be quite interesting to see how it comes out, to be honest, if I did do planets as kind of like Lantern Corps members. I suppose one of the tricks with lighting is it doesn't have to be exact on these kind of like designs. You just need to give enough of an impression of where the light's coming from, and then you can kind of get a general or overall feel for it. Hmm. I still feel there's something missing on this piece, but maybe it's just because where we're at in the stage of rendering this out. Maybe it's just I haven't drawn Hellmon in a while, it just seems a bit... Maybe it'll come together a bit more at the end. Okay, so this kind of has this whole... Yeah, I quite like that. Definitely keeping the whole kind of like edge to Ceruledge design. I'm not worried about it not being perfect on this bit either, with the kind of like the shadow effect going around. Just want enough of it to give it quite a nice impression that it's got the... I just sounded like a Minecraft villager there, but I was just thinking about the design. Yeah, I quite like that. Right, let's get back to this bit of the shading, so we've got a bit more of the... I have to play with a bit of the colours afterwards. I don't know if there's just too much purple on this. I think the armour needs to be a slightly different hue of purple in colour. If that makes sense, just to bring it down a little bit. I know it's going to have the purple for the fusion, but I don't know if it's not quite right. Alpha Dragon says, I'm back. Welcome back. I will show you what we've got so far in a little bit, Alpha Dragon. I'm just working my way around this blade. I really can't speak today. Thanks. I'm glad you think it looks good. It's definitely going to be getting there in a minute once I do a bit more of the yeah, the tails come out really nicely on this one. This is the kind of design we've got so far for the fusion. Basically looks like she's wearing the armor really nicely. And we're just, yeah, taking it from there really. I do know I need to add a bit more of a shadowy effect on these a little bit. Just to sell the like sharpness of them. I know it doesn't really have it that heavy, but I'm going to just add this to it. And then I'm just literally going to work my way through the overall design. The shadows and the highlights now, just to make sure I pick up as much as I need to, or as much as I can do on this design, so that it does it some justice. So let's do that layer now, because that's going to be the easiest to do with the brush. Just quickly make a few more darker shadow areas. It's the one where I need to zoom in and do a bit more detail. Might be a light a bit there. Really weird, I'm just attacking the screen with the pen at the moment to do this. Don't actually think I need that reference at the moment anymore. Or that one actually, we could probably get away with just continuing with what we're doing. I think the background, I will do a similar one to what I've done for the other Hellmon. I know sometimes I do drop backgrounds straight in, but I think for this one I'm not going to just drop it in as such. I'm going to see what we can actually come up with on it. That'll do for that bit. I've still got the main sort of like highlight layer to go, so I'm just doing the bits that would potentially look lighter when the light hits a certain angle, just to give some more shape to the legs and that. I do it in these little sections so I can kind of keep an eye on what I'm doing to a degree, to then just add the non-specific highlighted bits, just where I want to highlight a few bits that aren't quite as heavily highlighted as the rest. I think we're starting to get there with this. I still may do an experimentation with some of the colour afterwards, just to more just to see if there is anything else we can do with this armour to give it a bit more of a variation to the glowing bits at the side, just to make it stand out a bit more. Hopefully we can do that. Not a problem, Zenith. Thank you for joining, and I hope you have a beanful day as well. Just add a few little highlights in here. That's quite a large brush bit, but that's fine. I think I've done the majority of this now, and it's just double checking a few areas and doing those glowing bits on the... Yeah, I think it's just a few glowing areas and then... Right, so it's mainly sorting out this hair piece. So let's do a bit of lighting on this top bit, 'cause this is the main... This is the bit that's going to be the most interesting to do. Because on the design, it doesn't really do anything major at this point. It's not really a whole change in concept, as it were. So maybe if I mimic the hairstyle a bit. Kind of make the closest parts to the... I've got no idea if this is going to work for the hair, by the way. I'm just improvising. If I do a few effects, that'll maybe a bit of a glow. I want to try and give a flame effect to the hair, but I think I'm going to have to use a few layer things like a color dodge or a few bits just to make some of these aspects stand out a little bit how I want them to. Yeah, I'm thinking that Alpha Dragon, a bit of a glow brush afterwards, just to add an effect on a new layer. Just for enough of the, hopefully enough of the glow to kind of come through as it's. What's your advice on describing someone starting to fly? It completely depends if they've got a phobia of heights or not. If it's something they want to do and they're, I mean, are they flying themselves like a superpower flying like Superman?
Did they just grow out wings?
Or is it just a case of they, you know, they're flying in a plane or something? Because depending on the experience, you want to kind of, you've got two ways to approach it. They could be absolutely terrified and come to love it, or you know they're excited about it and they can fly, or they are they're at the point where it's like no return type thing. They're like, oh my god, I'm flying, but they're panicking and they're terrified of it completely. Or you've got the point where they love it and it's absolutely like amazing for them, and it's just a case of like, yeah, and everything's just like amazing. It completely depends. I think I definitely need to add a. That kind of looks cool for the hair effect. I think the glow layer needs to go down just a little bit though. Just so it's a bit of a subtle glow. I think that's pretty much our Hellmon there kind of done. I can't remember what we did on the last one actually. Did we add any? We did add some rhythm lighting looking at these ones. Yep. Okay. Okay, let's add a background first. Alright, let's have some fun with this. I'm going to try something random for a background I haven't tried before, so this will be interesting. Well, I say I haven't tried before, it's I'm trying things a slightly different way around of doing this. Actually, maybe if I just clear that layer and just do this again. That works a bit better. Trying to bit more darker area before I do the. Also, what's a Pokemon you want to fuse with a Helluva Boss character that's not from Palladia? I'd love to fuse Lucario with one of them, actually. Maybe Mega Lucario or something. I just think I could have so much fun with that. In all fairness, I reckon it'll just work. Yeah, I'm doing my usual, just make a mess everywhere on the screen for an abstracty type of background. I'll add some extra effects in a minute, but I got no idea what I'm doing for background. I am just literally going random on this. I have a random idea in head, but I don't really have a full clue what I'm doing right this second. Ooh, I like that. Hey Ronald, welcome to the stream. I don't know if you've been here for a while or not, but yeah, this background's becoming a bit more interesting. Definitely need to do the main element I do on the Hellmon. Now that we're getting close to the end bit, and it's the lovely glow bit. Not even sure what the time is. I know I started early, so I suppose we'll end up finishing a little bit earlier. It's only 12:15, so we've been going for about 2.5 hours now. Nope, just over, nearly 3 hours, which is quite good. And we just kind of fused Millie from Helluva Boss with Ceruledge to continue our Hellmon series, which is definitely fun. There's a bit more I probably want to do around the background in a minute behind the scenes, but for now I'm just gonna work on giving that white glow around the character. Basically just trying to make it stand out a bit from the background. And to join our other two that we've done. Our Luna and Coraidon. And our Blitzo and Miradon. I'm used to pronouncing the names without hearing it, so I do apologise if I butchered them to anybody who's a super big fan, but you know the ones I mean. Alpha Dragon says, what's your favourite so far? Theirs is this one. I'm not 100% sure which one. I like aspects of all of them. I think I might have to just do a fusion one. Just fuse them. I do like the wheel on the chest of the first one we did, the Coraidon one. I liked the kind of cape effect from the one with Blitzo and Miradon. But I do like the kind of like blades and colour scheme of this one. This one's coming along quite nicely in terms of the... I have to say, Ceruledge is one of my favourite designs out of the new Pokemon I've seen. I mean, it's a design I think is absolutely amazing. They nailed it perfectly. But I'm having fun with this one. I do probably want to try and add a bit more of a glow to the few of the sword bits and that as we go along to see what happens, but that's about it. Yeah, we'll just see what happens with this. Kind of see this one being kind of like a sterner version of the characters and a bit more of a hard to handle, kind of like a boss. Yeah, I was thinking that, kind of like bodyguard vibes. Just what I was getting at there, Tegan. Pokemon Fusion Mech Armors. That could be an interesting series, actually. I have to say, I do quite like doing the drawings on the live streams, just chatting away and chilling as I do them. It makes a nice refreshing change from time to time than just drawing them myself at the desk or wherever I'm drawing them. which is always good fun. Yeah, there's I think series like Pokemon are going to be one that will never die down. I mean, there's so much we can do with it on the channel. Mech Armors was a good series. Doing stuff like the Phobia is also good, and then just working it through to these Hellmon designs, which are actually really good fun. Guess I just got to figure out a way to do them as a... Maybe take the speed paint from Procreate and just stick them in a bit of a lure or a bit of design notes, and maybe make my own region up for a couple of these once I've done one or two more. And, you know, we could have just the lore based stuff and stick them in a kind of like a Pokedex entry. Should be quite cool. Yeah, the white sort of like glare effect's definitely helping us stand out a little bit. So, whoever we've got left, what are you all up to? Alpha Dragon says they've got a new tablet that they're working on, and they're doing a Dragonite Sizer Mech Armor fusion, which sounds really cool actually. So from this one bit here, I kind of get a comic vibe out the whole illustration, but I got a few ideas what I can do to up these bits slightly. There's one more thing I need to do before we can even attempt to call this anywhere near finished after I've done this. Hopefully, if I do it right, it will help bring this piece just a few finish, like a final finishing touch on top of the rest of it. But we'll see what happens. Have I covered all of this? Cool. So what I want to do is duplicate that layer of Alexis, keep that just in case, set that to multiply, so we've got that on top, and just a bit so we can see. I have to improvise again. Right. Oh, what have I done there? Wow. That's not what I expected to happen. There you go. I only needed one extra layer to go on top. Just want to make it a bit darker. Cool. So purple. Hopefully this will work a bit. I only want it around some of the flame bits, just to... Yeah, I think this is what it was missing. Just that little bit of extra pizzazz to it. So the bits here where it's kind of a more of a ghosty blue effect to just bring this a little to life a little bit more. And then just fade off a bit from there. Oh, Alpha Dragon. If you want two Pokemon to make into mech armors, make Mega Lucario with...
Dashburn.
With who?
Dashburn.
Dashburn.
No.
What's it? Hang on. Oh, Dashburn. It's like a dog type Pokemon.
It's the evolved form of
Fido?
Fido.
Okay, so Mega Lucario fused with the evolved form of Fido, which is the Dashburn Pokemon. And I have to say, I'd find that challenging. So, yeah. Fido's evolved form, which I haven't even drawn before, so that would be an interesting one to see and do. Have fun, Alpha Dragon. Cool. If you got an idea already, that's quite cool. Yeah, so what do you guys think of our Hellmon that we've got here? I kind of... backgrounds are missing... It's kind of like the painting, like... You kind of just want to... Does that kind of work? Does that kind of work or not? I'm not sure about the blue. I feel it needs something like the blue, just needs it on another layer. And then I'll just see what happens when I add that into the mix in a minute. No, we'll go without it. There we go. Our fused form of Millie and Ceruledge. I think that's come out really well, actually. So yeah, that's our third Hellmon in the series. But have we got a name for this one? In fact, we need a name for all of them, to be honest. I'll tell you what, when I end the stream, put your name suggestions for this one in the comments, if you can do, and we'll see what happens on that one, because this one's done really well in terms of the final design. I quite like it, and I'm not really sure there's much else we can actually do to this piece. It's come out really nicely, actually. So yeah, I think we'll probably call it there at the 3-hour mark. And thank you guys for joining the stream, and everyone who stayed all the way through, or stayed as long as you could do. MILLIE, yeah, possibly.
Ceruledge.
Or Ceruledge. I'll tell you what, put them in the comments. MILLIE is definitely a good one for it, and so Ceruledge, and we will see what we can actually do and put them together in terms of a poll, and we'll do a vote for it, because I need to do some for the other ones. So in our series so far, just before we go, so far in our series, hang on, Yep, let's just do the ordering of that. We've got our first one, which was our Luna and Coraidon, which I really do like the actual wheel effect on this one. We've got Blitzo and Miraidon. And we've got our Millie and Ceruledge. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how all of these have come out. Yeah. On that note, thank you all for joining the stream. Oh, hi Omega Prime. Hi. I'm just pretty much ending the stream. I've just finished. Thanks for joining, but you might have to catch up on how we got to this point. But hopefully you like the final result that you've got on screen. In fact, I'll tell you what. Just for Omega, hang on, what we'll do is we'll just do the time-lapse replay, and I'll just take you through the speedy version at the end of how we got to where we're going, or how we got to where we are. So you can kind of see where we had the choice where it's a bit too light and we made it darker. The process of adding the light and shadows and then working on the background. Adding that kind of background overlay for it, just to, you know, that little bit divider. Make it look a bit more ghosty. And then that's it. That's how we came up to the final piece, which we've got here. So yeah, but feel free, Omega Prime, to watch the stream back or flick through the stream, and I'll probably do a sped up version of this like I've done with the other ones. More like a speed paintery version for you to watch if you want in the next day or two. Yes, next time. I will be doing a stream next week. I'm not sure which day it's on yet. Possibly doing 2 next week. One in the daytime, one in the evening. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching and joining. And I will catch you all next time. And be sure to leave a name for the character in the comments below. For what we can call this fusion of Millie and Ceruledge. Catch you later. Bye.